Hello, and thanks for joining Prism English.
Today, I'll tell you a quiet story about a man who always said yes until one day he couldn't anymore. From the outside, Daniel looked like the kind of man everyone admired. He was polite, hardworking, always smiling. At work, he was the guy who stayed late when no one else would. At family gatherings, he was the one fixing chairs, driving relatives, holding babies, and never complaining. In college, when his friends fought over where to eat, Daniel simply said, "Anything's fine. I'll go with whatever you all choose." When he started his first job and his boss asked, "Can you take on this project by Monday?" Even though his plate was full, Daniel nodded. "Yes, of course." When his mother needed help moving furniture, when his neighbor asked for a ride to the airport, when his sister forgot her daughter at ballet class, Daniel always answered the same way. "Sure, I got it." "Yes, I'll do it." "Don't worry, I'll figure it out." People loved him. They said he was dependable. They said he had a big heart. They said he was the kind of man this world needs more of. And Daniel? He liked hearing that. He liked being liked. But what no one ever asked was, what does Daniel need? What does he want? Because Daniel never asked that himself.
The habit. Saying yes became his reflex, not just in big things, but tiny ones too. He said yes to joining group chats he didn't care about, attending weddings of people he barely knew, covering for colleagues who took advantage of him, helping exes who only remembered him when they were in trouble, accepting tasks at work without deadlines or boundaries. If someone looked at him with hope, with urgency, with even a hint of need, Daniel's answer was automatic. "Yes, of course, anything you need." But inside, each yes cost him a little more time, a little more energy, a little more identity. And no one noticed, not even Daniel. One quiet night, he stood in front of the bathroom mirror. It was past midnight. He had just returned from helping a colleague move apartments, something he hadn't planned for but couldn't say no to. His eyes were tired, his shoulders heavy. He couldn't remember the last time he did anything just for himself. He looked at his reflection and whispered, "Why do I keep doing this?" The mirror, of course, didn't answer. But deep down, he already knew. Daniel didn't notice the shift at first. It started with missed mornings. He'd wake up tired, snooze the alarm 3 times, rush through breakfast, and still show up 5 minutes early because someone asked him to cover their shift. Then came the canceled plans. He stopped going to the gym. He skipped his favorite book club. He missed 2 dinners with his old friend Marcus, the only friend who ever asked, "Dan, are you okay?" And when Marcus finally stopped inviting him, Daniel didn't blame him. He just blamed time. "I'm just too busy these days," he said to himself. But deep down, he knew he'd chosen to be busy for everyone but himself. The invisible burnout. Burnout doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it seeps in like a slow leak, unnoticed, unspoken. Daniel became more forgetful. He started dropping small balls, missed birthdays, unreturned calls, unfinished tasks. People got annoyed. His boss frowned more. His mom sighed louder. And so Daniel did what he always did, said yes harder. He took on more to make up for less, worked on weekends, skipped meals, skipped sleep, skipped himself.
The breaking point. It came on a Thursday. Daniel's manager pulled him into a meeting room. Dan, we need someone to fly out to Denver tomorrow. 2-day trip, presentation on Saturday morning. I know it's last minute. Daniel blinked. He had promised his niece he'd come to her school play. It was the first time she ever asked him for anything. He opened his mouth to say no, but what came out was, "Yeah, I can do that." His boss smiled, clapped him on the back, and walked away. Daniel sat there, heart pounding, jaw clenched. That night, his niece called. "Uncle Dan, you're coming tomorrow, right?" He froze. Silence. Then he lied. "Something came up, sweetie. I'll come next time." She didn't say anything, just hung up. That night, Daniel cried in the hotel bathroom in Denver. Not because he missed the play, but because he realized something terrifying. I don't even know who I am anymore. The cost. He was respected at work, but resented himself. He was loved by others, but didn't love his own life. He was always available, but never present. He gave everything, but had nothing left. Saying yes to everyone else had become a slow suicide of the soul. And it was finally, undeniably, killing him.
The return flight was delayed. Daniel sat at gate 34, staring at the window. He wasn't angry, he wasn't sad. He just felt nothing. The kind of numb that doesn't come from one bad day, but from 1,000 quiet compromises stacked on top of each other. When he finally got home, his apartment looked unfamiliar. Piles of unread mail, unwashed dishes, a plant he forgot to water, brown, drooping, dry. He sat down on the edge of his bed, shoes still on. It was 2:14 a.m. And then, just like that, he collapsed. The breakdown. He didn't faint, he didn't scream. He just broke. Tears came, not loud, not wild, just soft and endless. A silent waterfall of every yes he wished had been a no. The time he skipped his own birthday to help a colleague move. The trip he canceled for a friend who never showed appreciation. The job he stayed at because everyone said he was lucky to have it. The boundaries he erased to be seen as kind. He whispered to no one, "I don't want to be the good guy anymore." In the morning, he called in sick for the first time in years. His boss paused for a second, confused. "Are you okay, Dan?" Daniel almost said yes. Almost. But then he said quietly, "No, I'm not. I need some time." And just like that, the first no came out of his mouth. It wasn't angry. It wasn't dramatic. It was honest and heavy, but also freeing. The silence after. He turned off his phone, made a cup of tea, sat by the window. The world didn't fall apart. His job didn't vanish. The earth kept spinning. No one came knocking. No one screamed, "You've let us down." And for the first time in years, Daniel breathed.
2 weeks later, Daniel returned to work. Not with a new haircut, not with a life-changing glow, but with something far more radical. Clarity. Clarity that he had limits. Clarity that yes should be earned, not expected. Clarity that his life mattered too. The first test. On Monday morning, his coworker Jenna leaned over and whispered, "Hey, Dan, can you finish the sales report for me? I have this thing tonight." Before, he would have said yes, automatically. Instead, he smiled kindly and said, "Sorry, I can't. I've got my own work to finish." Jenna blinked. "Oh, okay." She wasn't mad. She just asked someone else. And Daniel? He didn't feel guilty. He felt alive.
The second test. His mom called that evening. "Sweetheart, could you come fix the leak under the sink tonight?" Daniel took a deep breath. "I can't come tonight, Mom, but I'll stop by Saturday afternoon, okay?" A pause. "You're always so busy now," she sighed. Before, that would have crushed him. Now, he said gently, "I'm just trying to balance things better." And she didn't argue. Reclaiming the day. That night, Daniel did something wild, unthinkable. He watched a movie for no reason at all. Not to be productive, not to impress anyone, just because he wanted to. He ordered his favorite noodles, sat in silence, and laughed at the screen. He didn't save the world that day. He didn't maximize his potential, but he chose himself, and that mattered. What he learned. Each time he said no, the world didn't hate him. People adjusted. Life just kept going. He realized this simple truth. Saying no isn't selfish. It's a way of saying yes to your own life. And that changed everything. A year passed. Daniel didn't become rich. He didn't quit his job to travel the world. He didn't suddenly transform into a different man. But he became something far more rare. A man at peace with himself. He learned the art of the gentle no. He stopped explaining everything. He let go of the need to be liked by everyone. Some people left, some stayed. But more importantly, he stayed with himself. A young man at the cafe. A rainy afternoon, Daniel sat at a quiet cafe reading. A young man, early 20s, nervously approached. "Excuse me, are you Daniel Whitmore?" Daniel looked up. "Yes." "I work at your old firm. I heard you used to, well, you know, do everything. Everyone still talks about that." Daniel smiled. "Yeah, I used to." The young man hesitated. "I'm kind of stuck. I keep saying yes to everything. I don't want to be the one who lets people down, but I'm exhausted." Daniel put down his cup. "I know exactly how that feels."
The advice he never got. Daniel leaned in. Listen, saying yes to everything feels like love, feels like loyalty, feels like purpose. But sometimes it's just fear wearing a polite mask. The young man nodded slowly. Daniel continued, "The people who truly care about you, they won't disappear just because you said no. And the ones who leave? Well, maybe they were only staying for the free ride." The young man exhaled, as if a weight had lifted. "Thanks, I needed that." Daniel looked him in the eye. "Don't wait until your body breaks to start protecting your soul." The last letter. That night, Daniel opened his old notebook. He wrote a letter, not to anyone else, but to his younger self. "Dear younger me, I know you're tired. I know you think saying yes will make them love you. But listen, the people who truly love you won't need you to burn yourself to keep them warm. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to be you. It might take time, but you'll get there. And when you do, the silence will feel like music. The space you feared will become home. Keep going. You're not selfish. You're just finally learning to breathe. Me." Daniel folded the note and placed it in his drawer. He smiled, not because everything was perfect, but because he no longer needed to be.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Prism English. We'll see you next time, where English isn't just learned, it's lived.